we're all set for baseball here in Los Angeles. A beautiful day as we get set for Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Pirates and the Dodgers. And the Pirates are all smiles, and why not? They've taken the first 2 games of this series, 6-3 and 2-1. The Dodgers will need Adrian Gonzalez back in the lineup after having last night off. It's baseball night in America. The Pirates in town to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And hello, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros. And Eric, this Dodgers team has stars virtually at every position. But the guy who kind of outshines everybody else is their right fielder, Yasiel Puig.
Well, he really does. You know, I brought my family to the game last night. Everywhere in the stands, it's a Puig jersey. It's Puig T-shirts. And rightfully so. You look at what he's done in almost a year under his belt. That's a 30 home run season, 328 average. It's not just been one hot month. Every time you come to the ballpark and see Puig play, he does something exciting. I'm sure we'll see something tonight.
What's amazing is that the Pirates have the reigning MVP and Andrew McCutchen, but he kind of gets overshadowed by Yasiel Puig.
Well, you got to remember, Puig's trying to get where McCutchen's already been. And what I mean by that, McCutchen already has 3 All-Star appearances under his belt. 2 years ago, he finished 3rd in the MVP voting. So last year, he went out and won it and was a big reason why the Pittsburgh Pirates got to the postseason.
These 2 guys are 2 of the best outfielders in all of baseball. Last week at Citi Field, they played anything you can do, I can do better. Who's the man? They both want to be the man. It's Pirates, Dodgers, baseball night in America. Next. Angeles, Sinjin Ryu ready to take the mound for the Dodgers as we take a look at today's starting lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. For the Pirates, leading off and playing third base is Josh Harrison. Neil Walker will bat second and play second. Andrew McCutchen, the MVP in center field, bats third. Gabby Sanchez will clean things up and play first base. Starling Marte bats fifth in left field. Jose Tabata in right will bat sixth. Jordy Mercer, the shortstop, bats seventh. Chris Stewart will catch and bat eighth. And the pitcher, Brendan Compton, will bat ninth. The numbers on Ryu this year, 5-2 with 3.1 ERA. 12 walks, 47 strikeouts. He's been very good on the road, not so good here at home.
No, not collectively, but in his last start against the Cincinnati Reds, he threw extremely well. Had Dodger fans thinking of, hey, possibly back-to-back no-hitters from the Dodger pitching staff. Hopes to build on that today.
Josh Harrison will lead things off here for the Pirates. Been very good as a leadoff man. And he takes the first pitch fastball, first strike.
Josh had a nice night last night. Hit the ball well every time up to the plate.
The 0-1 from Ryu. Breaking ball misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Harrison on the season hitting .290 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Breaking ball pulled to left field. Matt Kemp can't make the play, has to play it on a hop, and a leadoff single for Harrison.
Second baseman, number 18, Neil Walker.
But you see Matt Kemp out in left field, and fans probably not accustomed to that. You see him, the Gold Glove winner, in center. He's been moved to left. Don Mattingly, the Dodger organization, feel that they are a better defensive team with Andre Ethier in center. Matt Kemp has been taking balls in left. He's learning the angles. It's going to be new for him. He's a great athlete, so he should be able to develop over there. But there may be some bumps along the way.
Neil Walker steps in, shows bunt, pulls it back, takes the pitch for a strike. Walker's numbers on the season: .280, 10 home runs, 29 RBIs. Very good production from the second baseman. But how difficult is it to make that transition if you're Matt Kemp, going from center field, where you played your whole career, to now left?
Well, it's one of those things where athletically he still feels like he can play center field, and I'm sure athletically he can. But what's best for this team right now is to go to left. He's got to be receptive to it, and once he's got it in his mind that, hey, I'm going to do it, he'll be fine.
No balls and 2 strikes here to Walker. .02 fouled away.
You mentioned Walker having a real nice season for the Pirates so far, leading the team in home runs. Right now you see no shadows out on the field. Daytime here, when the sun's out, great place to hit. The ball will fly. Once you get nighttime, that marine layer, very difficult to drive the ball out of this ballpark.
Ground ball to third base. Turner goes to second for the out. Did he get it? Yes. Gordon made the catch on the transfer. That's where he lost it. They'll get the force out at second. Fielder's choice, 5-4.
Well, Clint Hurl's going to come out and discuss it. And remember, before on the transfer, they could say, hey, he never had complete control of it. Now, once the ball goes in the glove, in the webbing, that counts as having control of the ball. Chris Guccione, the second base umpire, he's explaining that to Clint. Clint's buying some time, wants to see the replay. Wait and see if he gets a thumbs up or thumbs down. Dave Joust, yeah, he's giving him the thumbs up in the bullpen, or in the, excuse me, from the dugout.
This was one of the plays that's actually been changed this year. There is the thumbs up that you talked about. And now all the umpires are going to come together. Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire, Sean Barber at first, Chris Guccione at second, and Paul Nauert at third base.
Well, again, looking at the replay that we saw, the viewers saw at home, looked to me like he had control of the ball. I got it. Now, see, what he's going to argue is that the glove never closed. And the way that the middle infielders, to be quicker, they never close that glove. So the transfer can be quick. See what I'm talking about here? Closing it. He never closes it. Look, it's just kind of like keep it open, drop it to the hand. There's a never, if you look at the fingers, he never squeezes it.
But they've also talked about, and they are going to go to the replay right now, but they also have talked about it's when the ball hits that back of the glove. You don't have to close it because that's also been a discussion point. Let's say the play's at first base, a bang-bang play. Do you have to close the glove, or is it when it hits that glove?
But you have to catch the ball at first base, correct? So if the ball just hits you in the back of the glove, theoretically, and just falls out, then the argument is, wait, it went to the back of the glove. What Clint Hurdle is saying here is that he never at any time had control of the ball. That's his argument right there. Even though it went in the glove, he didn't close the glove. He didn't have control. That ball looks like it's constantly moving, or continually moving, I should say. He called him out.
And he is out.
Clint didn't like that.
So fielder's choice, 5-4, the ruling stands. And that'll bring up Andrew McCutchen.
The ironic thing, too, now that Clint Hurdle has challenged that call. He was so sure that he was going to win that. Now he can't issue another challenge until we get to the 7th inning, and that's only when the umpires go after it now.
And that ruling was confirmed. It not stands, it's confirmed, so they have the evidence from the replay, and that's why he's called out. This one is pulled foul. No balls and 1 strike to McCutchen. McCutchen on the season, 303, 4 home runs, 23 RBIs.
You look at McCutchen and the type of season that he's having so far this year. We talked to Clint Hurdle prior to the game. He's got more walks than strikeouts.
Good fastball on the outside corner at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes.
He's recognized that the teams aren't necessarily going after him as they used to in the past. They're still being aggressive, but he's being much more patient. 42 walks on the season, 39 strikeouts.
0-2, fouled straight back. And maybe things will start changing here for McCutchen because Ike Davis, since he's come over from the Mets, he's starting to play very well for the Pirates. Getting the day off today with the lefty Ryu on the mound. It's that righty dominant lineup for the Pirates. Gabby Sanchez gets the start at first base. Another 0-2 down the right field line, slicing out of play into the seats. Jose Tabata getting a start in right field. And they sit Pedro Alvarez at third base, and they move Josh Harrison over there. Ryu's been a strike throwing machine here in this first inning. 10 of the 11 pitches have been for strikes. Just as I say that, he wastes one.
I had to. McCutchen had fouled off a number of pitches, so you think maybe he's being aggressive. Let's try and get him to go off the plate. Again, as we talked about, McCutchen showing more discipline in this early part of the season.
1-2 in the air to left center field. Ethier coming over. He's there to make the catch. 2 away here in the first. And that'll bring up Gabby Sanchez, getting the start here today at first base. Sanchez has seen his playing time diminish with the arrival of Ike Davis, batting .278, 5 home runs, and 13 RBIs.
He's had a nice start, though. He's got a slugging percentage of .556. He's hit a few home runs. Again, it's been a nice platoon situation.
First pitch breaking ball in there for a strike.
Hughes started each hitter off today with a strike. It's the best pitch in baseball, strike 1.
On at first base is Neil Walker, reaching that fielder's choice. Missing inside and low. 1 ball and 1 strike. How about this, though? The Pirates facing a lefty in Ryu. Facing a lefty for just the 6th time this season. If you're platooning and you're a righty, you're not liking that very much.
That's not good for the at-bats.
Missing inside with a fastball. 2 balls and a strike. This is the reason why Sanchez is playing. Look what he's done against lefties versus righties. The 2-1. Swung on a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. as you mentioned, Ryu had that great last start, 7 1/3 against Cincinnati, where he took a perfect game into the 8th inning, retired the first 21 batters he faced, which followed up the no-hitter by Josh Beckett. 2-2 is inside and low. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Now the runner will be moving here.
Starling Marte on deck, hoping to get a chance to hit here in this first inning. Gonzalez plays behind Walker. And now Ryu will just step off. The 3-2 in the air to center field. Ethier coming in. A late break on the run will make the catch, and that'll do it here in the first. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on. Yasiel Puig hitting third when we come back. Up for Don Mattingly's Dodgers, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. D. Gordon will lead things off. Andre Ethier bats second. Yasiel Puig in the 3-hole. The cleanup hitter is a shortstop, Hanley Ramirez. Adrian Gonzalez bats 5th. Matt Campbell bats 6th. The bottom third of the order, Justin Turner, Drew Butera, and Hyun-Jin Ryu. And they will face the right-hander, Brandon Compton, on the season. 0-1, a 3.38 ERA, making his 4th start. 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. This is a guy who was leading the International League in ERA before being called up.
Yeah, he's had 9 big league starts since last June, and he's only allowed more than 3 runs 1 time, and he's never walked more than 1 hitter in his start. Clint Hurdle telling us prior to the game that he's one of those old school guys, though, that is not afraid to come inside. And then he'll come inside again, and then even 1 more time. So this will be fun to watch as he goes against his Dodger ball club this evening.
And by the way, his major league debut was last June 15th against Clayton Kershaw. How would you like that? You get called up, you make your major league debut against Clayton Kershaw. Ouch.
He wants to throw him right into the fire, you know.
Here's D. Gordon, the speedster, leading off against Compton. Harrison in at third. And the first pitch fastball misses outside for ball 1. Gordon on the season, 288, a home run, 14 RBIs. He's been a pleasant surprise for the Dodgers this year. Switching positions, now playing at second. Fouls it away, 1-1.
Yeah, very athletic. And during the winter, they asked him to play some outfield. He did so in winter ball, play some second base. And I spoke with him in spring training this year, and he said the big difference was between his ears. He had his head right. He wasn't going to get all wrapped up in certain things.
Gordon to right field. Jose Tabata there for the catch. One away.
Dodgers center fielder, number 16.
Anytime you can keep Gordon off the bases, you're doing well. Andre Ethier walks the plate. A center fielder for the Dodgers, hitting .270 with 3 home runs and 25 RBIs.
Going to keep an eye on Mr. Compton today as far as he just got inside on D. Gordon. We're talking about, Clint Hurdle mentioned, he likes to come inside.
First pitch taken for a strike. One is up and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. All right, so Compton's a guy who will pitch inside. Garrett Cole is a guy who will pitch inside. We don't see it very often anymore. Why?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with just the confidence to throw inside. If you don't have the confidence to throw inside and you miss out over the plate, as we look at Garrett Cole, ace for the Pittsburgh Pirates out of UCLA, Orange Lutheran. We'll have a chance to speak with Garrett later. But getting back to, if you miss over the plate when you go inside, that ball's going to get yanked. You miss too far in, you hit the batter. And so that it's a lost art. But it's an effective one. If you can do it, if you can pitch inside, hitter can't get comfortable.
3 balls and 1 strike. The count to Ethier. 1 away here in the first. Fouls away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Who is a guy that notoriously
Pedro Martinez. You don't even have to say it. Pedro Martinez. And then there was Pedro Martinez. He wasn't afraid. And if he missed at your head or your shoulder. And you know, he was great. He was great. As good as there was, at least when I played.
Missing inside. Ball 4. Yasiel Puig will walk to the plate. Yasiel Puig, one of the most exciting players in all of baseball. They refer to people as 5-tool players. This is a 5-tool guy.
Hey, he does it all. He's got the speed. He does it with the hitting. He's got the defense. He's got the unbelievable arm and the raw power. You know, I always like to add a 6th tool, and that 6th tool, we just don't know how that's going to turn out, but it's durability. And I really do believe that is just as important, because we always see guys, they do all these things, but they're never on the field. Well, you got to be on the field.
Yasiel Puig, we showed the numbers since he was called up last year to this year. It's just about a full year. He has put up those numbers. He has stayed on the field and been very productive. Looked like he was squaring around a bunt, pulled it back, takes the pitch for a strike.
Well, this is the matchup I wanted to see. Compton, who likes to throw in. Puig, that's where you have to get him out. You have to go in, hope that he goes after that pitch. Come in off the plate.
Check on the runner at first base. Ethier 1 for 2 on the season in stolen bases. Yasiel Puig, I don't know if you can appreciate how big he is from TV. But this guy is like a rock. Oh, 1. Bounce to third. Harrison goes across the diamond for the out. Down to second base goes Ethier. 2 away.
Shortstop number 13, Henry Ramirez.
Josh Harrison, a very valuable member of this Pirates team. Can play left field, right field, third base, and he's hitting very well for them as well. Hanley Ramirez, the cleanup hitter, hitting .250 with 7 home runs and 27 RBIs. Up in an RBI situation right now with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. He takes the first pitch fastball for a strike.
That's been one of the issues for the Dodgers, at least over the last couple of games, where they've only scored 6 runs in the last 3. 2 for 15 last night with runners in scoring position. Hanley Ramirez this year, 241.
0-1, back up the middle, past the diving Mercer. Here comes Ethier. He's going to score easily, and Ramirez comes through the 2-out RBI single. You can raise that average now.
Well, that's big right now. Just for the Dodgers, for Hanley, it's they can take a breath. Because again, when you struggle, you're aware of it as far as there's a guy out at second base, there's a guy at third in scoring position. Oh, we didn't get him in. They talk about it. And so every time you get an opportunity, you're like, I've got to get him in. I've got to get him in right now. And it starts to build. When he gets a big hit like that with 2 outs, they can all exhale.
1-0 Dodgers lead as Adrian Gonzalez steps in. 263, 12 home runs, 36 RBIs. Got the night off last night. Ramirez takes off. The throwdown is wide, and a stolen base for Ramirez, his 5th of the season. Ramirez wasting no time.
No, feeling good, gets out there and steals that base easily. Stole that off of Compton.
So Gonzalez now in an RBI situation here for the Dodgers. Pitch misses inside. 2 balls and no strikes. The shift is on here for Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, you see the second baseman. He's out there in that rover position. Though notice the shortstop, he's just here. He's not on the other side of second base.
This is like the old school shift.
It is the old school shift.
Two-0 is inside. Now 3 balls and no strikes. A big improvement for the Dodgers with runners in scoring position in the month of May. Taking, and he takes a strike, 3-1. Matt Kemp on deck. 1-0 Dodgers leading here in the bottom half of the first. The Pirates took the first 2 games of this series. 3-1 the other way. Fouled into the seats.
Well, you see where they're going after Gonzalez, all down in the zone. Now, Compton is a ground ball guy. Against the Mets in his last start, he had 12 ground outs in 6 innings pitched. He's going to keep the ball low. That's where he works best.
Chris Stewart goes through the signs. The 3-2. Missing low and inside. Second walk of the inning issued by Compton.
You
19 pitches already here for Compton.
Yeah, and you see he's about 50-50 as far as balls and strikes.
27, Matt Kemp.
Now this right now, if you're Matt Kemp, you figure you got to look for something out over the plate. Very rarely in RBI situations do pitchers want to come inside. If Matt Kemp, look for something out over the plate, whether it's a slider or a fastball. Make him get it up, take that ball to right center.
Kemp on the season, 242, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs. Slaughter misses low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
See Matt struggling since he's been moved to left field. Again, physically he's fine.
In the dirt, good stop by Stewart. 2-0.
And you see both pitches have been away. They've been down in the zone. Matt still has to look for something away. Probably a fastball. Make him get it up. Again, they're not all of a sudden going to say, all right, we're 2-0. Here comes a fastball down the middle. Compton's still out there to try and make a pitcher's pitch.
2-0 blown right past Kemp. 2 balls and 1 strike. Compton's got a good fastball. We've seen it up to 94 so far in the first inning. Ethier had that 1-out walk, came around to score on the 2-out RBI single by Ramirez. 2-1 pulled, another base hit. Here comes Ramirez. He will score. Stopping at second is Gonzalez, and it's 2-0 Dodgers.
That's a good at-bat by Matt Kemp. He laid off the 2 sliders, got ahead in the count, and then had 2 healthy cuts. This ball, he drives through the shift. I'm talking about guys being able to exhale. You see him tuck that back elbow into his side, stays through the ball. You know, he's just looking for something good to happen. And you can, as a player, when you're struggling, things aren't going that well, you know, you can hear all the "attaboy, you're swinging the bat well, oh, keep with it." But nothing solves the problem other than having some success out on the field. And that's something right now that has eluded Matt Kemp. Big hit right there for him.
That snaps the 0 for 20 slump there for Kemp. 2 2-out RBI singles here in the inning. 1 by Ramirez, 1 by Kemp. It's 2-0 Dodgers. And after the meeting on the mound, Justin Turner will bat with runners on at first and second. Brendan Compton getting himself into trouble, falling behind in each count. Fastball is inside for ball 1. Turner, 240, 2 home runs, and 8 RBIs. Takes the fastball, first strike, 1-1. This is exactly what the Dodgers needed, though. A couple of big 2-out hits. Generating some offense here for the ball club. In the dirt, 2-1. Ryu getting some support here in the first inning. 2-1 slider called for a strike. 2-2 the count now to Justin Turner. Turner getting time at third base with Juan Uribe out. The 2-2. Ground ball to short. Mercer will go to first for the final out of the inning. But the Dodgers come up with 2 here in the first. We're through 1. Dodgers with the Pirates 2-0. Taco Bell breakfast. Wake up, live Moss. Back here at Dodger Stadium. 2-0 Dodgers to the Pirates. And the Ramirez, Matt Kemp, both with 2 out RBI singles. And now Injin Ryu will face Starling Marte, Jose Tabata, and Jordy Mercer in the second. And the first pitch is in there for a strike to Marte. On the season, 251, 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. Bounce foul towards the dugout of the Dodgers. It's 0-2. We talked about the electrifying players in this game, the outfielders, and both Puig and McCutchen. This guy at the plate, he has that electrifying talent.
Really does a ton of physical tools. Strikes out a bit too much, though, for the Pirates' liking. Right now, 60 strikeouts coming into today's ball game. It's in a little less than 200 at-bats.
Another 0-2 pitch. Misses up high, 1-2. And that's a big reason why he was dropped in the leadoff position. Today, batting in the 5-hole. Breaking ball misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The Pirates offensively they haven't clicked yet. The starting pitching's been decent the last 10 games. Bullpen is finally settled, but offensively, although they've been better in May, collectively just haven't been great up to this point.
Check swing, the appeal, and Sean Barber says he did not go, so a full count here to Marte. The 3-2 from Ryu. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. First strikeout of the game for Ryu.
Ryu making that perfect pitch, coming inside to Marte. Montero doing a nice job of framing that, bringing that back over the corner of the plate. One of the things that he's been recognized for as of late is his ability to frame pitches back there. Marte not too excited about that.
One away now for Jose Tabata. 259, no home runs, 10 RBIs. He's kind of lost his stranglehold on right field for this ball club. Josh Harrison getting the brunt of the work out there now. Although Tabata getting the start against the lefty Ryu here today. But all the talk really in Pittsburgh is, when is Gregory Polanco going to be called up and take over right field for this ball club? Fastball, foul tipped into the mitt of Butera. 1-1.
Well, I guess probably a month away. One of those things he again has gotten by a ton on physical ability.
Ground ball to third. Turner charging. Makes the play. 2 away. The keys to the game brought to you by Lincoln Motor Company. What should we be looking for?
Well, Pittsburgh needs to get into that Dodger bullpen. Dodger bullpen is where they have been vulnerable as of late. Sometimes real good, sometimes not so good. You know, for the Dodgers, I thought long and hard about this after the first inning. And I said, you know, Kemp and Ramirez really need to contribute. But those two, when you think of the Dodgers, especially coming into this season, Kemp and Hanley Ramirez, those are going to be the guys. Those are going to be the offensive forces. And they just have not gotten hot yet.
And you say yet, it sounds like you have confidence that these guys will get hot at some point.
I think they will, just because they're healthy. They are healthy. Now, they've had some struggles. Things haven't gone their way. Again, at the end of the day, these are two of the most talented players in the game. And if they have their health, I don't see any reason why they won't be successful this year.
2 balls and no strikes to Jordy Mercer. Pop foul out of play into the seats. Oh, nice play. 190, a home run, 6 RBIs. That fan right there Gave it to that young fan. Not quite as smooth as that young fan was. Where was that? In Texas? Line drive left field. Kemp will have to play this one on a hop. And a 2-out single for Jordy Mercer. You know what I'm talking about.
I missed that. No,
you missed it?
I missed that.
A young fan had 2 foul balls.
I did.
And then he gave one to a nice girl behind him. I mean, the kid couldn't have been more than 11 or 12 years old. It was a very.
Foul balls, all right.
The third base coach gave him one.
Oh, okay.
So that one he gave, and it was a pretty heads-up play. I mean, it was a big league move. I think he had her number by the end of the night. 2 away, runner on first now for Chris Stewart. The pitch in the dirt, 1 ball, no strikes. Stewart 245, no home runs and 3 RBIs.
And we talk about the Pirates getting into the Dodger bullpen. Look at that pitch count already. You're up to 34 pitches. Not exactly economical.
By the way, if you were on like social media, Twitter, Facebook, you would have seen that because it was all over the place. That's what you're missing out on.
Those are some of the things I miss out on.
1-1, slow roller third base, and that's going to be an infield single for Chris Stewart. First and second, 2 outs here for the Pirates.
The full swinging bunt, it's the most indefensible play in baseball. Nothing you can do with that. Why that right there is important. Not only do you put a runner out in scoring position, but you get the pitcher out of the way. So next inning, Josh Harrison, if Compton's retired, leads off the inning for the Pirates.
Brendan Compton is 0 for 4 on the season. Mercer at second, Stewart at first. 2 away here in the second. And first pitch, ground ball to Ramirez at short. Takes his time, and that'll do it here in the second. No runs on 2 hits, 2 men left on. We're through an inning and a half here in LA. The Dodgers with the Pirates 2-0. Sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company. This is where a new conversation begins. Here in LA, a picturesque day. 2-0 Dodgers through the Pirates. Bottom half of the second. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros here from Dodger Stadium. Brandon Compton will face Drew Butera, Injin Ryu, and on top of the order, D. Gordon. A couple of 2-out base hits in the first until the 2 runs for the Dodgers. And I would also say that maybe the lack of control led to those runs as well.
Yeah, 2 walks, and then when you say lack of control, wasn't able to hit his spots, fell behind in the count to Matt Kemp. He was 2-0 and had to throw him 2 fastballs. That's something, again, Compton has been so effective with, is his control. Hasn't walked more than 1 hitter in his 9 starts.
Matt Kemp had one of those 2-out RBI base hits in the first. Here's Drew Butera at the plate to face Compton. And the first pitch is in there, first strike. Butera, 205 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs in the season. Fastball misses inside, 1-1. I don't know about you, but seeing number 31 on a Dodger catcher, it's kind of weird.
Pretty good catcher wore that number, Mike Piazza.
Sounds like a broken back ground ball to short. Mercer gets rid of it quickly, 1 away.
Now you look at the scoreboard, and Compton is down 2-0, but there really has not been any hard hit balls. It's been ground ball. Few walks. They've found some holes, but it's not like they've been lining the ball out all over the place.
1 away here for Engine Ryu. 2 for 18 on the season at the plate for Ryu. And he's hacking. Ground ball to first. Nice play by Gabby Sanchez. He'll take to the back himself. Quickly 2 up, 2 down.
And that's his 6th ground ball. Marty Aronoff letting me know that up here in the booth with us. And that just shows you that Compton's been effective. I mean, he's kept the ball down. He's getting the ground balls. I think if anything, he'd like to have those 2 walks back. One he issued to Andre Ethier, again to Adrian Gonzalez, both left-handed hitters.
I thought you were just saying that all the stars come out when we're in LA and we get Marty Aronoff. 2 away now for D. Gordon. Gordon flew out to right field his first time up.
So this is a free strike. Compton got to throw this right down the middle. I believe Gordon's taking.
Just to give Ryu a chance to get back to the bench and get his stuff together?
Well, either that or D just wanted to be down 0-1 to start the. Yeah, you got to give Ryu a chance to get back in there, get his breath.
And now he's quickly behind on the count, 0-2.
And see, though, D. Gordon, that's the right thing. And maybe he grounds out, but that is right there for me. That's a young player sacrificing himself for the team. He's willing to go 0-2 if he has to. So his teammate, his pitcher, can get a little break, grab some water. It's very unselfish on D. Gordon's part.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Gordon. All right, Ryu looks like he's all set. Jacket's back on.
Well, that's all good, but if you're D. Gordon, he's saying, well, that's great, but I'm 1-2 right now.
1-2 is pulled foul. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. .36 pitches for Compton, but much better control here in the second inning than he had in the first. 1-2, foul tip into the mid, and the first strikeout of the game for Compton. A 1-2-3 inning. It's 2-0 LA. Top of the third here in L.A. Dodgers on top of the Pirates 2-0. Top of the order for the Pirates. Josh Harrison, Neil Walker, Andrew McCutchen to face Hyun-Jin Ryu. Harrison singled his first time up. And takes the fastball on outside for ball one. Harrison having that average creep closer to 300 on the season. Missing outside with the off-speed pitch. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, he was in right field last night, third base today. But when you look at him, 5'9", stocky guy, just doesn't look like, wow, this guy's going to really be a heck of a player. But Hurdle speaks very highly of Josh Harrison.
Harrison's 5 for 9 in the series. The 2-1. Inside out down the right field line. That is going to be a foul ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Harrison.
Well, Ryu dodging a bullet right there, just a few feet foul. See Neil Walker there, 10 home runs, having a nice year as a second baseman. Great shot to go to Minnesota as a Pirate representative for the All-Star game.
The 2-2 from Ryu. Spoiled foul. We'll do it again. He talked about how Clint Hurdle said this guy is so valuable for the team and impressed with what he does. He made a couple of catches a couple of weeks ago. One in New York against the Yankees, and then back at home against the Cardinals. One in left field, one in right field. I mean, they were game-saving catches, and you would have no idea he's a utility guy by the way he plays every position.
Well, but he's the type of guy that's going to go out there and play every game like it's his last. It's that I'm leaving everything out here on the field.
3-2, got him swinging with the changeup. One away here in the third. In between innings, we caught up with Dodgers manager Don Mattingly. We asked him how big those 2 out, 2 RBI hits were in the first inning.
No, that was nice. Just to get on the board, get Hyun-Jin a little bit of space. Hanley coming up with a big hit, and a big hit for Matt too, to kind of get him going. Hopefully that's the start of something big.
Obviously not where you want to be, still early part of the season, but what would you like to see most from this Dodger ball club as you move forward?
I just think consistent energy, especially defensively. I think that's the area that's hurt us most throughout the course of the season, that we haven't really picked it up as well as we can. I think that's an area that we need to improve on.
All right, Don, thanks so much. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Ironic he talks about defense, maybe one of the best defensive first basemen in the history of the game. 2 balls and no strikes to Neil Walker.
Well, he knows how important this Dodger ball club, pitching is important, and if you don't catch a ball, it doesn't matter how great your pitching is. And there's only 2 teams in all of Major League Baseball that have more errors. That's Cleveland in the American League, the Nationals in the National League. You just can't give away runs. You just can't. It's a burden to your pitching staff. Then what it does is forces them to make more pitches. Then maybe you got to get to your bullpen. It taxes your offense. I mean, it's a domino effect, and it's not going to a simple thing because you can have defensive issues, but got to catch the ball if you expect to win.
The 2-1 from Ryu in the air, center field. Ethier going back, has plenty of room. Makes the catch, 2 away.
For the Pirates, center fielder, Andrew McCutchen.
What is that? Because, you mentioned the Nationals, the Indians. A year ago, they weren't poor defensive teams. What happened? Is it contagious? Is it guys pressing like you can see offensively?
You can go into a slump, and you can get into a situation where you're not reading the ball off the bat well. You feel like you're getting in between hops. And once you make 1 or 2 errors and you start thinking about it instead of being relaxed, A lot of it has to do with just going out, getting your work done. You can make yourself a better defensive player. You're not going to have more range. You're not going to have, but you can improve on angles. You can improve taking ground balls. You can teach yourself. I mean, for me, the greatest example was Tony Gwynn, the great right fielder for the Padres, Hall of Famer, known as a hitter. When he first came up, he was not a good defensive right fielder, but he made a commitment to himself, and he turned himself into a Gold Glove winner.
1-1 fastball to McCutchen, misses outside. 2-1. McCutchen flew out to center field his first time up. Down low, now 3 balls and a strike.
Let's see the Dodgers in the era of the shift now. You see D. Gordon, the second baseman. He's behind second base out there. Only one man on the right side of the field, Adrian Gonzalez.
This one hit well to right field. Puig going back, and Puig on the warning track makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning worked by Ryu. We're through 2.5. It's 2-0 LA. To this broadcast, Andrew McCutchen flew out to Yasiel Puig to end the top half of the third inning. Puig will bat second here in the third behind Andre Ethier. 2-0 Dodgers on top. Ethier walked and scored his first time up against Brendan Compton. First pitch fastball misses outside for ball 1. Ethier, like Yasiel Puig, has enjoyed the month of May. Since April 30th, hitting .333. Fastball in the outside corner, 1-1. He raised his average from 194 to 270 entering this game. Up high, 2 balls and a strike.
That's one of the tough things that this Dodger ball club has had to deal with, whether it's Yasiel Puig out in right field, but you've got Andre Ethier, you've got Carl Crawford, who's now in the DL, you've got Matt Kemp. All of these guys, they're still in the prime of their career, and they want to be out there every day.
2 balls and 2 strikes. So how do you solve the problem?
You don't. Right now, they really haven't had to deal with it because somebody's been hurt all the time. But it's tough to find playing time. And all of these guys, again, they're guys that are still able to play every day.
Fastball just misses outside. 3-2. And oh, by the way, the Dodgers have a prospect in the minors in Jock Peterson, who is one of the top prospects in baseball.
Yeah, there'll be a time for him at some point. But just no room right now. And that's one of the tough things about playing professional sports, specifically baseball. You get drafted by an organization. If there's no spot for you in the big leagues, there's nothing you can do. It's not like when you're in the everyday workforce. If you don't like it, I'm shutting it down. I'm going to go get a job somewhere else. Not happening in baseball.
3-2 hit the other way. Marte going back at the warning track. The wall makes the catch. Wait a minute. No, he didn't. He drops it. And the third base umpire, Paul Nellert, says it is a hit.
Well, and the thing about it, listen, so if it's a hit, remember, Clint Hurdle came out earlier to challenge a call. He doesn't have that challenge anymore. Marte going back.
That looked like a catch to me.
It really did, but there's nothing that Clint Hurdle and the Pirates can do. He's got it. He's got it. Hits the wall. Now that's where that challenge early in the game on the ball that was thrown to D. Gordon for the force out at second base. Clint Hurdle and the Pirates came out to challenge. Didn't work out. Now he doesn't have any left.
And he's 7 charged to Marte. So at second base is Ethier and Puig at the plate. First pitch swinging, slow ground ball. Mercer trying to barehand, can't do it. The speed of Puig forcing the issue for Mercer. Had to barehand or he had no play. An infield single for Puig.
See, that's just beautiful if you're the guy that possesses that type of speed, because the way you hit that ball, Puig right there, that's an out. You don't deserve a hit for that. But because he can run, Mercer has to come in, try to barehand it, not able to make the play. Puig gets himself a base hit.
Now 32 consecutive games that Yasiel Puig has reached base. That's first and third, nobody out here in the third. And Hanley Ramirez at the plate.
See that 32 straight games, Puig has reached base.
Ramirez came through that 2-out RBI single in the first. Came around to score on the 2-out RBI single by Matt Kemp. Throw back to first, and Puig just gets back in safely.
See Puig leaning and then decides to go back standing up. You see, it's that left foot in there.
Again, a throwback over, a small lead that time. This is what you were talking about before. The reason why the Pirates had no challenge left was Clint Hurdle challenged the ruling on the field earlier. And now they couldn't challenge this play because they lost that first challenge. Could be a pivotal point in this game as it's first and third, nobody out. Ground ball pulled through the hole. Another RBI for Hanley Ramirez. And it's 3-0 Dodgers. The Dodgers now 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
See Puig head down. He doesn't know where the ball is. He's rounding. He hustles back. You know, Compton really deserves a better fate. I mean, the Dodgers, Ethier has probably hit the hardest ball, and that should have been an out. Marte should have held on to that at the very least, and who knows if that ball, if that is a challengeable call. Or if Clint Hurdle had his challenge, it may have been reversed. But it's been all ground balls, ground balls.
Adrian Gonzalez takes the first pitch for a strike.
You look at the score, you go, 3-0. Dodgers first and second. Gonzalez up, nobody out. Boy, they must be wearing this guy out.
Gonzalez rips one to right. Tabata has to play it on the bounce. Puig rounding third. Right behind him is Ramirez. He will hold up. An RBI double for Gonzalez, and it's 4-0 Dodgers.
Compton gets this ball up in the zone. Gonzalez just gets on top of it and rifles it to right field. Compton does a good job of getting over there, but takes a few extra steps. Once he does that, Puig easily scores from second base. Hanley moves over to third. Matt Kemp comes up with another RBI opportunity.
Second and third, still nobody out here in the third. Kemp, an RBI single his first time up.
And if you're Kemp, you've got to be awfully patient. Again, they're not going to give you anything good to hit. Compton has to keep this game in check.
Patience. Now fly out to right. Tabata comes up throwing Ramirez. The play at the plate. Ramirez is safe. Gonzalez to third. He's safe. A sac fly for Kemp, and it's 5-0 Dodgers.
You see Matt Kemp all smiles right there, and really, you got to go hug Hanley Ramirez. And Hanley Ramirez really did him a favor right there, and that's one teammate picking up another, especially when that teammate needs to be picked up. This ball right there, really, Hanley shouldn't probably be going in that situation, but he does. He knows it's an important run right there for Matt Kemp's psyche. Matt's excited about that. Says thank you. Matt's defense, he hit a rocket last night. Second baseman made a great play. Robbed him of an RBI base hit.
Infield in now for Turner with a runner on at third. Another base hit. Gonzalez scores. And it's 6-0 LA. The Dodgers wasting no time against Brandon Compton.
Yeah, Dodgers putting the ball in play, finding a lot of holes, aggressive on the base paths. Something that this offense is needed. Again, going back to Brandon Compton, you look at it and you say, man, down 6-0. Gonzalez smoked the ball to right for the double. No question about that. Ethier drove the ball to left field. But the rest, ground ball after ground ball after ground ball that seem to find holes.
And how about this? The last 5 Dodgers hitters have faced a total of 6 pitches. Not wasting any time, seeing a pitch, hitting it, and getting an RBI pretty much.
It's a good gig if you can get it.
Drew Butera. Turner takes off. Stewart's throw down. And it's dropped on the tag by Walker as he hit Turner.
You see Justin Turner not wasting any time. He gets down to second. You know, the Pittsburgh Pirates have allowed the most stolen bases in Major League Baseball. 51 coming into today's ball game. Walker able to hold on to that ball. Turner easily out. Stewart not real thrilled about that.
1 ball, no strikes now to Butera. A little pop up coming in from second is Walker. He'll make the play. 2 away here in the third.
Pitcher number 99, Hyun-Jin Ryu.
Hyun-Jin Ryu will bat with 2 outs and a runner on third after his offense has provided him with 4 more runs here in this third inning. They got 2 in the first, 4 now here in the third, leading 6-0. And Ryu fouls off the first pitch. It is amazing, though, how hitting is contagious.
Well, you start feeling good about yourself. Good things happen. You get a break here, you get a break there, and it just kind of snowballs. Much like if you're struggling. Out, line drive out, one hopper out.
0-1. Breaking ball. Big swing and a miss by Ryu. 0-2. Kemp had an 0 for 20 streak snapped with his RBI single in the first, and got some help from Henry Ramirez to get a sacrifice fly here in the third. 0-2 missing outside. 1-2.
I mean, this game really is, it's as mental a game as there is in sports. Your confidence level. Compton, again, you look at the box score, and it looks like he's pitched poorly. He's really done a lot of good, he's done a lot of good things.
4 runs in the inning for the Dodgers. We're through 3 here in LA. It's 6-0 LA. By light beer you can actually taste, Corona Light, and by T-Mobile. Here at Dodger Stadium, it's 6-0 Dodgers over the Pirates. Top of the 4th inning, as we're joined here on the broadcast by a California native and Garrett Cole, the ace of this Pirates pitching staff, who pitched here on Thursday night. And Garrett, what was it like pitching here in LA, coming back home?
It was exciting. Just a great atmosphere. Couldn't have asked for any better weather. It's been a nice few days, and it was electric atmosphere. And we just had a lot of fun.
You know, we've got 2 UCLA guys right now. I'm sitting next to one, and Eric Karros. We've got a UCLA guy down there, and Garrett Cole. And of course, earlier in the broadcast, Garrett, I want you to know that EK made sure he dropped in the UCLA reference for you.
Nice. Bruins stick together.
Well, you know, the draft coming up right around the corner. You were the first pick in the draft. You also were drafted out of high school.
Right.
Your experience at UCLA, what would you recommend to a youngster?
I mean, there's just so many invaluable lessons you can learn in college. It's a safe atmosphere. It's not a ruthless atmosphere like the minor leagues can be. You can really figure out you need to handle yourself off the field, and how to go about winning baseball games, and not to mention get an education and have some fun going to football games and basketball games as well.
I could imagine going to UCLA can be some fun too. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Gabby Sanchez, and Sanchez looks at a called strike 3. 1 away here in the 4th. Speaking of fun, last week we had you here on the air on Fox when you guys faced Steven Strasburg and the Nationals, and you guys got the win. What was that like for you? I know you're a baseball fan. What's it like for you going up against a fellow ace in Strasburg?
I think it's just fun to go out and compete against the best guys. Really, I spoke to you earlier this series about how much fun we had. The first night. It's not always about how good you do, but it's sometimes about how good your team does, and just being able to battle back and forth like we did against Strasburg, and then we did the other night. We're starting to get our toehold and start to move in the right direction. It's good for us to see.
Slow ground ball to first base. Gonzalez flips to Ryu, who beats Marte to the bag. Quickly 2 up, 2 down here in the 4th.
Well, you're a big part of that second half of the Pirate run last year. You had an opportunity to play in the blackout game. What would it mean, again, to have another successful season at Pittsburgh and get to the postseason?
I think it would probably prove to everybody that we're legit. I don't think we need to prove to ourselves that we're legit. I think we have enough self-confidence and we know what we're able to do, but back-to-back postseason trips would definitely put us on the map and kind of establish a foothold in the National League. So I think that's what we're striving for, and we're not trying to push too hard right now through the early part of the season. But like I said, we're getting some traction as of late, playing some good ball games. Obviously, haven't got what we wanted today so far, but it's a long way from being over.
So your ownership, and you say, I can do anything I want to do with this ball club. What would you suggest? Putting you on the spot, what would you do?
Oh gosh, play GM.
You get to play GM. You get to do whatever you want to do. What would you do with this ball club? Besides pitch yourself all 5 days.
I don't know. I was going to say I got enough trouble worrying about myself pitching every 5 days. I don't know how good of a GM I would be. I think we've done a good job. I like where we're at.
Gonzalez with a diving stop, and he throws it wide. It actually hits Tabata, who will get to first base safely.
What are you going to do there? I think the shuffle that the lineup that the skipper's made with Harrison at the top has allowed us to score a lot more runs, and we're starting to get some the ball rolling on the mound a little bit. Quality starts back to back, which is nice. So I think to answer your question, but not really answer it. I think we're in a good spot.
Well, one thing I noticed from last week talking to you, and even right now, is how big of a baseball fan you were growing up, and you've stayed as a player. How difficult is it to kind of maintain that fandom when you're a Major League Baseball player? It's probably not easy early, but I think once you get into the routine of things, it just kind of becomes the same game that you've always been playing. I think everybody will tell you that. Is there one player that you played against that kid in you kind of came out and you're like, man, I'd love to get a picture, an autograph from him?
I mean, there's a few in this league. Fortunate to grow up in an era where we've had some really outstanding players such as Jeter and Pujols and Gonzalez over here, and there's a lot of guys still hanging around the league that I remember watching in high school. It's fun to play against those guys. It's fun to pitch against those guys. I remember telling you the other week I had pitched against Pujols for the first time when we came back to Anaheim, and that was kind of like, wow,
yeah.
you're in the big leagues.
And what did you tell me? You got him the first time, and he got you the second time?
I got him twice, and then he put me into the rocks over there at Angel Stadium for the D. So, it's comforting to be just one of the 500 or so on the list.
What's been the transition from college ball? You didn't spend a lot of time in the minors, but getting into pro ball, what was the biggest change?
I think the routine, going from school to grabbing Subway and running over to the field and playing practice and then doing homework. The routine is much different here. You wake up later in the morning, arrive to the field much earlier, take care of your business, take care of your work. And it's a different season. You play 50 games in college and you play 162 up here. So, managing your body and making sure you're in shape, coming into spring training, on fire. Those are things that you can only learn, going through pro ball. And, but it's, it hasn't been too big of an adjustment. It just, it takes a little effort.
It did stay fair for Mercer. That goes all the way into the corner.
Get in there, Tommy.
Tabata rounding third, being waved home, and he will score a 2-out RBI double for Chris Stewart. The Pirates get on the board, now trailing 6-1. You know what this means, Garrett? You get to stay on the rest of the game. You're good luck for your team.
two out ribbies. That's what we like to see.
I don't know if Tabata is going to agree. I don't know if he's going to want to be taking any balls to the face down the first. It's like I'm good about scoring, but I don't know about this ball to the face thing.
That was a 2-out double, by Jordy Mercer, and that'll bring up Chris Stewart. The 8th double of the year for Mercer. 6-1 ball game. Again, we are speaking with Garrett Cole, the ace of this Pittsburgh Pirates staff. And first pitch swinging is Stewart. And settling under it is Puig. Hey, Garrett, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys.
Be good.
6-1. Dodgers through the Pirates through 3.5 here in L.A. Baseball night in America here in Los Angeles. The Dodgers on top of the Pirates 6-1. Jordy Mercer came through with a 2-out RBI double to put the Pirates on the board. And now it's the top of the order for the Dodgers. D. Gordon, Andre Ethier, and Yasiel Puig. First pitch, line drive past Gabby Sanchez into the corner, and Gordon can fly. Tabata picks it up. Gordon's going to try for 3. Here comes a throw by Walker, not even close to being in time. And the 4th triple of the year for D. Gordon. don't need words for that.
Sanchez never saw it. You got the shadows there. In day games, you usually have fans that have lighter shirts. Very difficult to pick the ball up off of the bat in afternoon games.
A leadoff triple here for Gordon. Andre Ethier at the plate. Ethier has reached base both times, has scored 2 runs. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. Ethier walked and scored back in the first, reached on the 2-base error by Starling Marte in the third, which again, if Clint Hurdle had a challenge left, maybe that would have been reversed. Instead, it led to 4 runs in the inning, 3 of them being earned.
And as you mentioned, that's how the inning started. So again, you go back to the strategy of when do you use that challenge. Clint Hurdle electing to do it in the first inning. Really, it didn't seem like that was a turning point in the game. I mean, you can have a turning point in the first inning. I guess you could, but it certainly wasn't it.
1-1 to Ethier, misses inside. 2 balls and a strike. Infielders in, the 2-1 pitch. Just missing. Now 3 balls and a strike.
You see Compton up to 60 pitches. His job out there right now just to try and eat up some innings. Save that bullpen. Get through another 2.
Fell back out of play. 3-2. Travis Snyder was in the on-deck circle in the last half inning to hit in Compton's spot, but that's because there was a man on base. Now I don't see any action in the bullpen here for the Pirates. The 3-2. Popped up. Mercer at shortstop. 1 away. Time for a game break. Let's go back to the studio and check in for the first time with Rob Stone.
Outfielder number 66, Yasiel Puig.
The Red Sox and the Rays, that rivalry is kind of heating up.
Yeah, it really has. I thought there'd be some fireworks. David Price hitting David Ortiz last night, and from what I saw, obviously intentional. David Ortiz not liking it, made some comments afterwards saying that he had no respect anymore for David Price.
Yasiel Puig at the plate with a runner at third and 1 out. Takes the first pitch fastball inside for a ball. Infield is in again here with Puig at the plate. Puig had that infield single his first time up, bringing his May total of 43 hits. Pulls this one. Harrison has Gordon, got him, and he will eat it. So a fielder's choice, 5 unassisted. 2 away here in the 4th, and a good play by Harrison. So let's talk more Rays, Red Sox, and the unwritten rules of baseball. Last year, it was Jacoby Ellsbury stealing second base in the 8th inning of an 8-2 game. So the other night, it's Yunel Escobar who steals third, up 5 runs in the 7th inning, and the Red Sox did not like it.
No, unwritten rules only apply to the other team. Doesn't apply to your team. This is ironic because, again, last year Ellsbury steals in the playoffs in a situation where the Red Sox are way ahead late in the game. You know, when a team does it to the Red Sox this year, as the Rays did the other day, everybody's going to get all bent out of shape. And again, there are a whole host of unwritten rules. Can you steal at this point? If you have too many runs, you know, do you stand at home plate when you hit a home run? Again, it just depends who you are, what kind of mood everybody's in at the time. And there is an etiquette, but I think that etiquette has been chipped away over the last few years.
A check on Puig again. Isn't there also a way, I mean, of policing this. Look, if they don't like it, the next time he comes up, can't you just drill him?
Well, and that's the way that it usually gets done. If you really want to do something, you don't make a big deal of it. You just take care of it the next time the guy comes up, because he certainly knows what he did.
A pitch out.
But to get all upset about it and to yell, to come out on the field, then you just bring attention to it, and then you're not going to get any retaliation, because then warnings are going to be issued. You're going to be looking out for, oh, is somebody going to throw at somebody else? If you really want to get somebody, you just let it go. You put it away in the memory bank and take care of it the next time you see that player at the plate.
Puig takes off. Ramirez hits one to deep center field. McCutchen back. Gone. Ramirez with his 8th home run of the season, now 3 for 3 on the day.
Remember, this started with a ground ball in his first at-bat. This pitch out over the plate. He gets extension. See that big leg kick? He stays behind his front leg. Crushes that ball over the center field wall. You go back to the keys to the game that I
mean, you're just prophetic.
Yeah, I mean, really, nothing better than dropping the keys to the game in the second inning after you've already seen the first. But again,
it usually helps.
Well, it goes without saying. For the Dodgers to do what people expect, Kemp and Ramirez are going to have to play like Kemp and Ramirez. Hanley doing it today.
3 for 3, 4 RBIs. 1-1 to Gonzalez in their first strike. 1-2. Gonzalez had the RBI double his last time up, came around to score. 8 runs so far today, the most for the Dodgers in the past 11 games. Line drive back up the middle, and that ball was smoked.
I don't know what it was like down there on the field, but from up here, it looked like Compton ducked.
27, Matt Kemp.
Big shot right back up the middle. The rocket. Not the outing the youngster wanted to have. Not the way he thought about it.
Jeanmar Gomez warming up in the bullpen here for the Pirates. Bottom half of the 4th inning. 2 away. And it's 8-1. Matt Kemp, 1 for 1. An RBI single and a sac fly. Make it 2 for 2. The hits keep on coming here for the Dodgers. And I wonder if Don Mattingly's going, can we save some of these for maybe tomorrow night?
You know, I don't think he minds Hanley and Matt Kemp getting as many hits as they can, because, again, those two guys are going to need to be productive for this Dodger ball club to get to where they want to go.
Another visit out to the mound for Ray Searage. You talk to people out here in L.A., and you'll mention what the Dodgers have done. They're 29-27 this year. They've lost 3 in a row. They trail the San Francisco Giants by 7.5 games, and they'll point to last year and what they did. I don't think you can count on going 42-8 like you did last year.
Well, you can't count on that. And remember, last year they took off when Puig came up and when Hanley Ramirez returned from the disabled list. Well, there's no savior returning from the disabled list. You know, not to take anything away from Crawford or Uribe or Ellis. I mean, all excellent players. And there's nobody coming up like Puig.
First pitch to Justin Turner, misses outside. Yasiel Puig getting a ankle brace put on.
You know, and I think that may have happened when he was leading off first base. They had a quick throw over. Kind of came in funny to the base. It was in the third inning after he had singled.
Brandon Compton in his first 3 starts allowed 7 earned runs combined. He has given up 7 so far today in 3 2/3. Fastball's in there for a strike. 1-2 to Justin Turner. A beautiful day here in LA, so why not get the wave going, right? You're feeling good about your team. It's coming around. I hope you're ready. Going the other way, past the shift is Turner. Gonzalez will score. 9-1 Dodgers. And that right there made them my favorite hit of the ball game. Justin Turner seeing the shift and going with the pitch and putting it through the hole.
Well, I'm going to go with Justin Turner with 2 strikes, just making contact. Him stepping out, butt going out. Just let me put the bat on the ball, and being fortunate as heck as that thing rolled through the right side for an RBI and base hit.
Well, that'll do it for Brendan Compton. His day is done. Gomez is coming in. But the day right now belongs to Hanley Ramirez. The 2-run home run. He's 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs. It's 9-1 Dodgers. Baseball night in America here in LA. Andrew McCutchen and the Pirates have been stifled by these LA Dodgers. The Dodgers offense coming alive. Matt Kemp, couple of hits, couple of RBIs. Don Mattingly and this Dodgers team trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Leading 9-1 here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. A new pitcher into the game is Jeanmar Gomez. On the season, 0-2 with a 4.78 ERA. Has appeared in 15 games, 26 1/3 innings, 9 walks and 17 strikeouts. And the first pitch to Drew Butera is outside for a ball. Fastball in there, first strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. First and second, 2 outs here in the inning. Off-speed pitch on the outside corner, 1-2.
Nice pitch. Little movement, kept it away. And these are the types of games, especially if you're the Pirates right now, you've got to find some self-motivation. I mean, game looks like it's out of hand, but
in the dirt, good block by Stewart.
You've almost got to trick yourself into thinking, okay, this is a close game. I'm coming in to pitch. Men on first and second if you're Gomez. And that's the tying run out at second base. It's easy to get complacent in these sort of games and just let things snowball. See Compton right there.
The 2-2 from Gomez. In the air, center field. McCutchen on the run at the wall. That one's off the top of the wall. Kemp comes in to score. Turner scores. Butera to third with a 2-run triple.
Pitch down, and Drew Butera just drops the barrel of the bat on the ball. Hits the very top of the wall. Shoots right back. Catching well short of it. Look at that.
Wow.
Another few inches, and you're not huffing and puffing all the way to third.
A 2-run triple for Butera. And Ryu takes the pitch outside. So Ryu, who has struggled at home in his 4 starts this year with a 7.08 ERA, getting a ton of run support here today. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
With Ryu coming to the plate right now, the Dodgers have batted around this inning.
It all started with the triple by D. Gordon. Fastball in the outside corner, 2-1, and it looked like Compton might get out of the inning. He got Ethier to pop out to short, and then Puig had the fielder's choice to third base. A nice play by Harrison to tag out Gordon, but then Hanley Ramirez with a 2-run home run. Fastball missing, 3-1. Eleven runs for the Dodgers, a season high, and we're in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Fastball in the inside corner, 3-2. Five runs in the inning for LA. They had 4 runs in the 3rd inning. 3-2, popped up. Walker on the outfield grass, gives way to Tabata. And that'll do it here in the 4th. But the Dodgers put up a 5 spot. They lead 11-1 after 4. have been have been asleep, but they are asleep no more. 11 runs already through the first 4 innings. The most they have scored all season long. Hanley Ramirez, Matt Kemp, 2 keys to this offense. They have gotten going in this game. Drew Butera with a 2-run triple. 11 runs on 12 hits through the first 4 innings for the Dodgers. And now a rarity. A relief pitcher, and Junmar Gomez will get a chance to hit here against Ryu. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. One ball and 1 strike. And now if you're Ryu, just got to go out there and throw strikes.
Well, you throw strikes, but again, you want to get something out of this. You don't want to just get up there and start throwing the ball over the middle of the plate. You still want to pitch. You want to get your work in.
Gomez gets the hit in his rare at-bat. Next Saturday, it's a full day of MLB action, beginning with the Indians taking on the Rangers on Fox Sports 1. Then it's Baseball Night in America on Fox as David Ortiz and the Red Sox battle Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers. The Yankees square off against the Royals, and the A's and the Orioles will play as well. Our MLB doubleheader begins next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and continues at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Leadoff man on here for Josh Harrison, who's 1 for 2. Struck out his last time up. Pulls the first pitch foul.
You know, this Pirate Ball Club, again, they're getting their bullpen straightened out. They've outsider today in their last 10 games. They've been getting some pretty good starting pitching.
Pulled fair inside the bag, down the line. Gomez going for 3. The throw comes to Hanley Ramirez, who cuts it off, and it's a double for Josh Harrison. 2nd and 3rd. Nobody out here in the 5th.
Next, second baseman.
I've seen Harrison last night and today with the at bats. Just shoots his ball over the bag. Matt Kemp getting an education quick out there in left field. Again, this Pirate Ball Club, I mean, there's a lot of good things about it. Like I said, the starting pitching's been better. The bullpen now, guys are back in all of their roles. They've been swinging the bat a lot better in the month of May. Got the reigning National League MVP. And I'm not sure that anybody's going to run away with that division in the National League Central. I know the Brewers have got off to a quick start.
Walker line drive, caught by a leaping Hanley Ramirez at short.
You see, that's some of the dangers you can have. You see Hanley get way up there. When you have that 11-1 lead, you've been sitting in the dugout for a while, and then Ryu's got to come out. And, you know, obviously the adrenaline's down a little bit. The intensity, the nervousness, it's not there as it would be in a close game. But I can promise you that the Pirates are still going up there. They're getting their hats. Getting in that box thinking, I'm going to do some damage.
McCutchen 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts. Harrison at second. The pitcher Gomez on at third. Pulled to third. Turner's going to come home, and they get the pitcher out at home. Gomez 5-2.
I think Turner just thought that was the easier play. I mean, it was smoke to him. He's got all day. Gomez decides to run. McCutchen speedy down to first. You got him dead in the water here. See Butera. He gets the tag out there.
Two away now. Fielder's choice from McCutchen. Gabby Sanchez steps to the plate.
How about if you're Gomez? You know, you're a bullpen guy. You usually probably don't get an at-bat. Here we go. You know, I get an at-bat. I get a hit. I got to run the bases. And I'm going to get thrown out at home sliding. I mean, I can promise you that's not the day he had in mind this morning.
Well, he's probably also thinking, right, you know, it's a 10-run game. Ball's hit deep to third. They're not going to throw home.
What does he know about base running? That's the question. I mean, you know, he probably's never out there when you think of it. I mean, how many at bats you think he gets, let alone hits?
1 ball, 1 strike here to Sanchez. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Struck out his last time up, flew out to center field his first time up.
You know, we talked about Sanchez and Ike Davis providing the production from first base. Been pretty good. Look at Ryu. He's at the 80 pitches. Again, it hasn't been all smooth sailing. It hasn't been real efficient today. You see what he's done by inning. Just hasn't had that easy inning so far.
Two in the air to left center. Late break by Ethier. He makes the catch, and that'll do it. Second and third, nobody out. No runs come across for Pittsburgh as they trail 11-1.
All right, double fans.
Chevrolet, find new roads. Is that your house down there?
There he is. There's a man today. Good outing at home up to this point. Coming off that great outing against the Reds.
The issue for this Dodgers team, not going to be starting pitching. They might have the best rotation in all of baseball. D. Gordon leads off and takes the first pitch fastball, first strike. You talked about the keys to this game being the offense and specifically Hanley Ramirez and Matt Kemp, and the two of them, they have come through today. Ramirez 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs scored. Gordon fouls this one off. No balls and 2 strikes. Celebrate Sunday all season long with special ticket offers. Head to the ballpark with your friends and family. Go to MLB.com/Sunday. Adrian Gonzalez, he's been hitting today, but Matt Kemp 2 for 2, picked up 3 RBIs. Fastball is outside, 1-2.
And we talked about the offense, and if those two guys, Ramirez and Kemp, can get going, it'll mask a lot of the issues. But I found it interesting, our conversation with Don Mattingly. He talked about defense. You know, and that was the most important thing for this ball club. And we talked about it prior to the game with Donnie in his office, and he just felt like baseball now, you're not going to outslug people 10-9. It's going to be low-scoring games, and you want to have run prevention. You don't want to give away extra outs.
2-2 fastball called for a strike on the inside corner. Down goes Gordon for the first out here in the 5th.
See, Gomez runs this ball, starts off the plate and comes back. A lot of movement. It's an excellent pitch there.
I'm always amazed at the evolution of sports. When you think about pitching, Greg Maddux was that, to me, that first guy with that two-seamer would run back. Now you get almost everyone throwing that.
Everybody throws that now. Everybody throws 95. It's become, I believe, more difficult to hit. Not only because of the physical ability of the pitchers, but also with all the information that teams have now. You've got these wonderful shifts that, I'm telling you, if you're a hitter and you hit into the shift and you hit a ball where somebody's quote unquote not supposed to be, there's nothing worse than running down that first base line knowing that you should have had a hit and you're about ready to get thrown out. You're talking to yourself. You're probably cussing yourself down at first.
Good pitch right there. 1-2 to Ethier.
I mean, it's almost as every hitter now. You look at this. Ethier's got 3 guys over there on the right side. Third baseman's shading up the middle at short.
And a change up, swung and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Gomez. 2 away now for Yasiel Puig, and Puig is part of this trio of Cuban players who have come in and made an impact. And the first one was Yoenis Cespedes. He came in, signed a big deal, then Puig signed his big deal, and then it was Abreu. And Abreu got off to a fantastic start before landing on the DL, but all 3 of these guys had made big-time impacts on their respective teams.
Hey, you've got the hitters now. You know, many years ago it was El Duque and Livan Hernandez, Ariel Prieto. All pitchers. Now it's the era of the position player, the slugger.
And each one really is helping the next based on the contracts they're receiving. Puig takes the pitch inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Similar to what we're seeing with Ryu coming over from Korea, signing with the Dodgers. Down low. Tanaka signing with the Yankees from Japan. It seemed like at some point there was enough teams had gotten burned that they were slowing down on the big contracts. But Yu Darvish got the big deal. It's paid off for the Rangers. Tanaka, who won again today for the Yankees. In the first year, he's done very well. And Ryu obviously has done well here for the Dodgers. Puig, a hard hit ground ball to short. Mercer stays down on it. And a 1-2-3 inning work by Jeanmar Gomez. We've played 5 here at Dodger Stadium. It's 11-1 LA. Game on Fox is sponsored by Bear Back and Body, the official pain reliever of Major League Baseball, and by Burger King. Come try the new Chicken Big King, only at Burger King. Top of the 6th, Starling Marte will lead things off here for the Pirates. Marte 0 for 2. Struck out looking his first time up. Grounded out to first base his last time up. And the first pitch fastball taken for a strike. Good pitch, 0-2. When Ryu was coming over from Korea, people compared him to David Wells. Do you see that comparison, or does he remind you of anybody else?
I think Ryu's got a little more athletic ability.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night to Marte. That's strikeout number 4. Celebrate the new season with Chevrolet. Share your excitement using #TheNew.
I'd also say that he's a more polished pitcher as far as being able to control both sides of the plate. And not to take anything away from David Wells, because he was an excellent pitcher, had a very fine career. But I think Ryu has the ability to be better. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
If he's on another staff, he's an easy number 2. And in some cases, he's a number 1. On this, he's a solid 3.
Tabata fouls the pitch away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Clayton Kershaw, there is 1A. Zach Greinke with, I guess, fallen as 1B. Dan Herron is right there. Josh Beckett, of course, who threw the no-hitter last week. Not a bad staff.
No, and that's why there shouldn't be any alarm or people going, oh no, this isn't going to be the Dodgers year. As long as those guys are healthy, I mean, every 5 days you're in the ball game for the most part. You're going to be involved. And the other things are going to come. The hitting's going to come and go. The defense, ideally, the Dodgers would like it to be more consistent. But that pitching will get them to the postseason.
2 balls and 2 strikes here to Tabata. How much of this do you buy into? With the payroll, with the guys they have, with the moves they've made, that a guy like Don Mattingly is almost in a no-win situation, because if you win, you're expected to win. And if you lose, people say, well, how do you lose with that team and that payroll? It's almost become like the Yankees of the West.
I do believe that to a certain extent, but I think you look at Phil Jackson and what he did in the NBA, right? So he wins all these championships, and he is heralded as the guru, and he's great. But he had the greatest players ever. So if Don Mattingly wins with these guys.
Tabata, flare to right field, drops in for a base hit. He takes a big turn, and he will hold right there at first.
Getting back, if Don Mattingly wins with these guys, I mean, he deserves credit. It's not easy to come in, and managing the game nowadays is not that different from team to team, but managing the specific team, the personalities, that's why guys get paid the big bucks to manage. And it's no easy task, especially this Dodger ball club.
You look around, a guy like Hanley Ramirez in a contract year, that could be weighing on him. The outfield situation when Crawford comes back. You've got 4 guys for 3 spots. 4 guys who are all making big money.
Yeah, and you tell me that anybody can manage that, or that's an easy task. I mean, you have to have a resume, first of all. And I think, at least with Don Mattingly, he played the game, and he was at the top. He struggled with injuries. He went through a stretch, obviously not making the postseason. I mean, he's seen it all. He's been in New York. And a player can't walk in and say, well, you don't know what I'm going through. Well, I do. I know it. He was the highest paid player in the game at one point.
Mercer ground ball to short. Ramirez goes to second for the force out. And they get Tabata there, 2 away here in the 6th.
Catcher number 19, Chris Stewart.
Chris Stewart now will step to the plate, 1 for 2. Flew out to right field his last time up. Reached on the infield single back in the 2nd.
Stewart filling in for Russell Martin. Russell Martin had a huge home run the other day here at Dodger Stadium. Well over 400 feet.
First pitch swinging. Puig coming hard. And this will bounce foul. Puig made a catch on Thursday night down that right field line, slamming into the wall.
And see, you know what? That's a smart play right there. Because if this means something, and not to say that every out doesn't mean anything, but he lays out for that. He dives for that. Puig, the Dodgers need for the entire year. They don't need him laying out or crashing into a wall. And that for me right there is the maturity, the evolution of Puig, especially over this last month or so. That's a smart play.
And the dirt, good stop by Butera. This was the catch from Thursday night.
You know, and here the game is still in play here. Dodgers still have a shot. He runs into the wall, makes an excellent catch. I thought for sure his back was going to be no bueno after that.
I thought for sure the wall may break.
Wall ain't moving.
Puig is one
never
strong
has,
dude.
Never will. Wall versus human. Wall wins 100 out of 100 times.
What was that? Wasn't there a play in AAA years ago in Portland, Oregon, where they
wall.
ran through the wall?
That was wood fence. Wood fence versus concrete
wall.
So
now we gotta specify walls.
Well, I've never heard of a wood wall. I guess I've seen it. I usually call that a fence.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count here to Stewart.
That was Rodney McRae, outfielder.
So.
Yeah. I believe he was with Vancouver at the time.
Playing in Portland.
And just ran right. And, you know, that wood probably wasn't decrepit or rotted or anything in Portland, right? With no weather up there, no rain or nah.
Another 2-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Stewart.
We're coming upon the 100 pitch mark. And if you want to nitpick on anything, that's what you'd say. You'd say, man, 100 pitches and haven't got through 6 yet.
Runner goes, hit the other way. A 2-out base hit for Stewart. And we're going to have a pinch hitter here for the Pirates. With the pitcher spot coming up, Gomez, it's going to be Travis Snyder pinch hitting.
Number 23, Travis Snyder.
Gomez must be thinking, man, I get a hit, my only time up.
Clint didn't like the way he ran the bases. He went from third and didn't score on that ground ball to the third baseman Turner. Well, if you're Snyder too, you know, you're sitting on the bench, you're a left-handed hitter, you probably don't see much left-handed pitching, and manager finds you, says, hey, go grab a bat, you're hitting. The good thing is you got some runners on base.
Pirates have 9 hits on the day. Travis Snyder takes the first pitch in the dirt for ball 1.
We talk about Ryu, 101 pitches so far, has not got through 6, only given up 1 run. Doesn't have any walks at all today.
He only has 1 1-2-3 inning, and that came back in the 3rd. Behind the count, 2 balls and no strikes here to Snyder. Fastball on the outside corner, 2-1. Fouled the other way. 2-2. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit MLB.com for details.
See Jamie Wright down in the bullpen, the right-hander. Been around for many years.
2-2, bounce foul. We'll do it again. Ryu trying to get to the 6th inning. A 10-run lead. Mercer at second, Stewart at first. Travis Snyder, the pinch hitter, at the plate. Pulled through the hole. Puig is charging. Here comes a throw from Puig to the plate. Butera can't short hop it. And it's an RBI single for Travis Snyder.
Puig comes up firing. If that ball is maybe 4 inches, 5 inches further back, Butera gets a cleaner hop. Actually wasn't that bad. Probably coming in real hot though. Charge doesn't necessarily get the cleanest of transfers, but Butera trying to backhand it and make the tag all in one swipe.
The pinch hit RBI single for Travis Snyder. And now Rick Honeycutt comes out for a meeting on the mound. Jamie Wright continues to throw out there in the bullpen for the Dodgers.
Again, just wants to give him a breather here, let him collect himself and get that one more out. Been one pitch away a couple different times.
What was the best line you heard when you came in for a meeting on the mound? That could be said on the air.
Oh, I can't even recall, but 90% of the stuff that was said out there had nothing to do with what was going on as far as mechanics or pitches.
First pitch breaking ball to Harrison in there for a strike.
Many times a pitching coach would come out or infielders would go to the mound and just try and get the pitcher out of what was going on right there, because usually it was trouble. Just get him thinking about something else.
Fastball just misses. 1-1. .26 pitches in the inning here for Hyun-Jin Ryu. Popped up. Gordon backs up to the outfield grass. And Ryu will get through 6, giving up 2 runs. We head to the bottom half of the 6th, 11-2 Dodgers. the offense has erupted here for the Dodgers. Matt Kemp 2 for 2. Couple of RBIs, a run scored. Hanley Ramirez, how about the ball game he's having? 3 for 3 with a home run and 4 RBIs. And Hyun-Jin Ryu got through 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, did not walk a batter, struck out 4. And it's time for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving pitcher profile. And Ryu gave up a season-high 10 hits. He kind of labored through those 6 innings, but at least he got through 6, giving up just 2. And he will most likely depart with a big lead.
Well, he made pitches when he had to. You see the 10 hits. It wasn't like he was fooling a lot of guys, but he was staked to that 6-0 lead and then 11-1 lead.
Lowe's Never Stop Improving. Ryu still has the jacket on.
Moving from left field to center field, number 6, Sterling Marte. Now pitching number 29, Bryan Morris.
A lot of changes here for the Pirates as we go to the 6th. A new pitcher to the game. It is Bryan Morris. Morris will face Hanley Ramirez leading off in the 6th. And Ramirez in the air to center field, where now Marte is looking up, and that one is gone. Second home run of the day for Hanley Ramirez. His 9th home run of the year, 5 RBIs in the ballgame, and that ties a career high.
Well, he gets extension, he gets his ball up in the air, and as we talked about earlier, day games, or late evening games, before you get nighttime, ball carries here, and it's warm today. He gets that thing up, and it gets out.
Adrian Gonzalez steps in, takes the first pitch for a strike. Four for 4 is Hanley Ramirez. Gonzalez skies one down the left field line. Tabata able to make the catch.
The thing just hangs, and Ramirez does a little pose for it. See that back elbow tuck, makes contact, continues through with the extension. Thing just gets out. Then our favorite thing is we've come to know Hanley for. I see you.
Twelve to 2, Dodgers on top. Matt Kemp now at the plate. And the first pitch fastball for a strike. Harrison, nice play at third base, spins and throws to retire Kemp. 2 away, and we've had some defensive changes here for the Pirates. Moving over from right field to left field is now Jose Tabata. Starling Marte goes from left field to center field. Playing right field now is Travis Snyder, and Clint Barmes takes over at second base. So McCutchen and Neil Walker are both out of the ball game. Bryan Morris, the pitcher, will hit in the 3-hole in McCutchen's spot. Barmes hits in the 2nd hole in Neil Walker's spot. We're going to quiz you on that later. Justin Turner swings and misses at the first pitch. I might quiz myself later. Two outs here for Turner. And it's 1-1. 2 runs on 10 hits and 1 error for the Pirates. 12 runs on 13 hits and no errors for the Dodgers. Foul tip. 1-2.
Well, they've swung the bats better today. Really, they've done it without Puig. Puig had that infield single, but he's 1 for 4. The damage coming from the 4, 5, and 6. Ramirez, Gonzalez, and Kemp.
1-2, chased and missed, and Turner goes down swinging. Baseball Night in America on Fox will return to Los Angeles after a word from your local Fox station.
It's time for the United Health.
Has to like what he's gotten so far from his team, leading 12-2. A new pitcher on the hill for the Dodgers. It is the right-hander Jamie Wright. Wright on the season is 2-2 with a 3.04 ERA and 26 2/3. He will face Clint Barmes leading off here in the 7th. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. We've got a new shortstop. Hanley Ramirez is out. Justin Turner moves from third to short. That means we've got a new third baseman, and that's Sean Figgins. And then we have a new right fielder. And Slyke is now playing in right field. What do you know, but an all-star game has broken out here at Dodger Stadium.
Well, you know, the ironic thing, Clint Barmes here hitting for Neil Walker. Neil Walker had an 11-game hitting streak that snapped today. Barmes probably gets the start tomorrow night against Greinke. Been swinging the bat well the last few games. He's had an opportunity to play some short.
Fouls that one away. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Played shortstop for Clint Hurdle in the Rockies many years ago. There's Clint. Done a real good job in Pittsburgh. keeps it even keel. Always has his words of wisdom. Very personable guy.
2-2s in the dirt, 3-2. Pulled to third base. Sean Figgins will get tested right away. One away. The new season of The Ultimate Fighter continues Wednesday, and the action is heating up as two fighters go into the octagon to see who will earn a spot in the semifinals. Don't miss an all-new Ultimate Fighter Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Bryan Morris.
Would you ever get into the octagon?
You know, that would be a big no.
Yeah, me neither.
I had an opportunity. Fox had a UFC seminar, and we went down to a UFC gym in Hawthorne and in Torrance, and we were acquainted with some of the fighters, and we went through some of the routines. And I will say this, I have the greatest appreciation for how athletic those fighters are. I really had no idea. The technique, the technical skills, it's unreal how good of an athlete you have to be to get in there. But short answer, no chance I get in that thing. Not unless I was armed.
Bryan Morris, the second relief pitcher of the game for the Pirates to get in that bat. And he is not going to go down without swinging. Taking some big hacks there with a smile on his face. Backdoor breaking ball. Nasty pitch there from Jamie Wright. He says, you take a big swing, I'm going to throw this one at you.
There's no pitcher-on-pitcher etiquette right there. After that big swing, he says, all right, just as you said, if you're going to swing like that, you're going to get a good look at this breaking ball here.
Where's that unwritten rule? No backdoor breaking balls to pitchers.
It's a stat pattern for the pitcher on the mound.
2 outs now for Gabby Sanchez. He takes that first pitch, first strike.
But that's the thing. When you get into a ball game like this, and it seems the outcome's already been determined here, whether you're pitching or hitting, you got to take advantage of that time in the box or that time out on the mound. You know, Jamie Wright's getting an opportunity to pitch. He may not pitch for a few more days. You got to stay sharp, stay on top of things. Guys that get an opportunity to play the few final innings.
Another breaking ball, this time taken for a ball, 1-2. Goes that pitch again. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. The finale of this 4-game series will be tomorrow. Edinson Volquez against Zach Greinke. 2-2, fouled back, stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I believe that's an early evening start. Hitters always love that here at Dodger Stadium to get the shadows going.
When you're hitting in those shadows, what's the hardest pitch to hit?
Anything that's a breaking ball. You can't pick up spin. That's why I always used to get frustrated at our pitchers. They're out there trying to throw fastballs. Just throw breaking balls.
Stretch time here in LA. 12-2. Dodgers on top. By Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by the new Samsung Galaxy S5. The next big thing is here. Well hit. Utera to left field. Tabata there to make the catch. The MLB Fan Cave is back. Some of baseball's biggest stars are scheduled to visit and appear in Fan Cave videos. Check out all the latest cave happenings at MLBFancave.com. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. And you might be wondering, why are we showing Andre Ethier while we're reading that promo? Well, you'll see in just a minute. You know what that's called?
That's cheese.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, right? Heard about those things.
First pitch to Scott Van Slyke is taken for a ball. Two balls and no strikes. Andre Ethier, while the Dodgers were in town to take on the New York Mets, had this appearance set up for him. And he displayed his incredible acting skills that I'm sure he perfected while at Arizona State. Living out here in LA, around actors all the time, he thought, why not get into it himself? 3 balls and no strikes here to Scott Van Slyke. And a 4-pitch walk issued to Van Slyke. So here you have it. Andre Ethier in Point Break Live in New York City.
Special Agent John Utah, day number 1 in LA. Welcome aboard, son.
You've been working bank robbery, what, 22 years?
Leave it alone, Johnny!
You've given up. Fine, it doesn't mean I have to.
You watch your perfect mouth.
Mysterious, and we'll go get these guys!
Did he memorize those lines?
I just want to know if he got to keep that wetsuit. That's mall material. You put that thing on, you go hang out at the mall in that wetsuit, you get a lot of conversation, I'm sure. There's Andre right there. You know, on a serious note, though, he does do a lot, or used to do a lot of, culinary stuff where he'd go, whether it was cooking or reviewing restaurants, and always finds the best restaurant in every city.
So what you're saying is I may have to talk to him for all the travels?
Well, even better is he usually picks up the check, too. So I'd recommend that.
1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Gordon. With Ethier on deck. What about you? You ever do some acting? I heard that.
Was I in some program? Yeah.
You were modeling for Gap, but
the highly acclaimed Pamela Anderson detective show. Is that VIP? VIP. I did a little Chicago Hope. I did some Arliss. Did some soap operas. Those were the days.
The perks of being the LA Dodgers all-time home run leader.
It had nothing to do with it. It had to do with my acting ability. That's how I garnered all those spots.
Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So are you jealous now that Matt Kemp is going to be modeling for Gap?
I think that's great for Matt.
Following your footsteps?
That's great for Matt. Saw that the other day. He's going to be the face of the Gap.
2-2. Harrison has to hustle. He does to get Gordon at first base. Down to second goes Van Slyke.
I'd say it's like watching Harrison, especially in a game like this. I mean, he is still playing this thing like it's a 0-0 ball game. You've really got to appreciate that. Making plays, staying in there defensively, having good at-bats. Not easy to do. Not easy to do.
2 outs. And now the man that we've been talking about, Andre Ethier, gets to come to the plate. Did you have a list, whether it was in your head or just on paper, of your favorite restaurants in each city, or in some cities that you made sure you go to?
There were some that yes, there were cities, whether it was Chicago or New York, you were going to some certain spots. That was one of the things, if you got in there on a Sunday night, or a lot of times, because I played for the Dodgers, West Coast travel, you'd travel on a Monday, get into a city for Monday dinner, and you'd have things lined up. The early years, it was Peter Luger's in New York for steak.
Great spot. Fouled back. If you're in Pittsburgh, I recommend going to Chartiers, eating out on the veranda. Overlook the golf course. Great spot.
The golf course. Of course it had something to do with golf if you're involved.
Just saying. It's a good spot. No balls and 2 strikes. Here to Ethier. Bottom half of the 7th, 12-2 ball game. Dodgers lead the Pittsburgh Pirates. Check swing. Did he go? He did not, says Paul Nauert at third base. Peter Luger's, though, the steak sauce there is unbelievable.
You can order that. You can order that online.
Trust me, I have some in my fridge at home. Ethier goes down swinging to end the 7th. We're through 7 here in LA. Dodgers leading 12-2. But he had a great outing last Sunday. The no-hitter against the Phillies. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. The first no-hitter since 1996 for the Dodgers when Hideo Nomo did it. Starling Marte, first pitch, broken bat line drive, caught by D. Gordon. Now, we talked about unwritten rules, and did Josh Beckett actually break one last week? Because I thought you don't talk to a pitcher through a no-hitter.
Well, so technically he didn't break it because you're not supposed to go up and talk to the pitcher. Now, if the pitcher starts the conversation, then it's like you have to appease the pitcher because he obviously wants to have a conversation with you. Beckett loose as all heck the other day in Philadelphia, going back and forth with Puig. I mean, watching that telecast, you could even hear, Puig, you have enough. Are you going to be able to do it? Beckett's going back and forth with him.
Jose Tabata at the plate, 2 for 3, a run scored, 2 singles. And that pitch is up and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Going back to the conversation we had earlier about the way the game has a way of policing itself, or at least it used to, when pitchers would just hit the batter later on the next time, whether it's in that game or later on the season when they saw them again. Ever a time where you can remember where you got hit and one of your pitchers came up and said, I got your back?
Didn't have to say that. It was taken care of. Where there were times where guys showboated at home plate and the pitcher would take care of it. There were times, on the flip side, I'll never forget playing against the San Francisco Giants. We had a huge lead. Roger Cedeno's on first base. We're ahead in the 9th inning. He takes off the second, steals a base. And everybody in that Giants dugout is up on this top step. Dusty Baker's yelling at me. They're yelling at me. I'm up at the plate. I know I'm getting drilled. I'm screaming at them. I will take care of it after the game. I will take care of it with Roger. And to their credit, they didn't hit me.
Really?
And I took care of it with Roger after the game.
3-2, hit the other way, and Tabata has himself a 3-hit game.
Tabata getting that rare start, making the most of it.
Shortstop number 10, Jody Mercer.
I know everybody at home is wanting me to ask how'd you take care of it, but I won't ask you that.
We'll put it this way: Roger was a young player, and he was crying afterwards.
Really?
And it was, yeah. He didn't. I mean, he didn't mean anything. But there is that etiquette, and you just have to know who you're playing against and who you're going to offend or not offend. What kind of mood everybody's in.
Jordy Mercer at the plate. Takes the first pitch for a strike. We were doing Tigers Royals about a month or so ago in Kansas City, and Rajai Davis now playing for the Tigers. I told you a story how in Double-A, Rajai Davis was on at second face and Justin Verlander was on the mound. And with 2 outs, Davis stole third base. Well, the next time he came up, Justin Verlander drilled him with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball in the ribcage. And I was wondering if he remembered it. And you brought it up to him. And he's like, oh, yeah, 97 right in the ribs.
Yeah.
Remember it like it was yesterday.
Well, because as a hitter, you definitely remember it. I mean, just as pitchers remember certain things that hitters do, hitters remember who threw at you, who knocked you down. I mean, I tell you what, I can remember that a lot more, like who would throw at me or who would brush me than hits that I got or home runs that I hit. You didn't forget that stuff because you know you were getting back in the box.
I asked Verlander the next day what happened. He said he stole third with 2 outs. What's he doing? On a single, he's scoring anyway. So he wasn't happy about that. He took care of it. Ground ball to third base. Figgins thought about second, now goes to first and gets the out. Down to second base goes Tabata. 2 away here in the 8th.
Catcher number 19, Chris Stewart.
I'm going to take this time right now to say congratulations to Jacob and Zandy Allman on the birth of their son Nolan David, who was born last Sunday. Everyone's doing well. Big sister Skylar enjoying having a baby brother around, which is pretty cool.
Do it, Jacob. One of the guys at Fox, been there for many years. Good man. Good man. Except he went to USC. Outside
to Chris Stewart. Stewart's 2 for 3. A couple of singles and a fly out to right. Chopper to shortstop. Turner takes the nice hop, throws across, and that'll do it here in the 8th. No runs on 1 hit, 1 left on. We head to the bottom half of the 8th. It's 12-2 Dodgers. Sponsored by Squarespace. Create your own website at squarespace.com. And by the makers of One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB. The Game Changer Profile brought to you by T-Mobile, official sponsor of Game Changers. And who else but Hanley Ramirez. 4 for 4, a couple of home runs. Tying a career high with 5 RBIs. One of the keys to the game, according to Eric Karros, and he came through.
Well, he's had a nice day. He was due. He was due. He and both Matt Kemp contributing today. Look back at the lineup. Ethier and Puig not doing a heck of a lot up at the top, but Ramirez and Kemp, Adrian Gonzalez, they came to hit today.
A new pitcher for the Pirates is Jared Hughes, and Hughes faces Sean Figgins. Hughes on the season has appeared in 14 games, 3-1 with a 2.3 ERA. The bullpen is a strength for this Pirates team. Good pitch on the outside corner, 0-2. Figgins' numbers for the season. Made a name for himself playing in Anaheim with the Angels. And then he signed that big contract with the Mariners. And here he is now with the Dodgers. Watch out in the dugout. That might have been Mark McGwire who was there.
Yeah, he's in the camera well right there. And that ball had Mark McGwire written all over it except for the netting in front. Yeah, you see it.
Oh-2, chased and missed. One away. Time for a game break. Let's check back in with Rob Stone in the studio.
Pitcher, number 28, J.D. Wright.
in the 8th. It's a 12-2 ball game.
Jamie Wright getting an at-bat. Doesn't happen very often.
But apparently, it happens a lot in this game with guys in the bullpen getting at-bats. And you know he's going to, if he gets a hit here, says, yeah, I was the cleanup hitter last night. Uh-huh. Foul tip, 1-2. We showed Mark McGwire before in the dugout as the hitting coach, Don Mattingly as the manager. I don't know about you, but for me, it's really cool to look around baseball and see these guys who I kind of grew up watching and cheering on, and now as they're part of staffs, whether it's, you know, last year you think about the brawl between the D-backs and the Dodgers. I mean, the coaches who were going at it, those were an all-star team in the 80s and 90s. Matt Williams, McGwire, Mattingly, Charlie Nagy, Alan Trammell, Kirk Gibson, Steve Sachs.
You know, I'm much the same way in you know, covering these games and being down on the field and seeing some of the coaches, and you know, some of the guys I didn't even know I ran in last week, the Marlins, the hitting coach Frank Menachino, who I played with in Oakland, and he's the fine hitting coach there. He's doing a great job with that Marlin ball club. Jeff Branson working with the Pirates, and Wally Joyner now with the Tigers, with the Phillies last year. So it is. I get the nostalgia. It's, you know, you're walking down there, they're probably looking at me like, oh, yeah, that's that TV guy that announces games.
That's that guy with the hair.
Jeez. It's that guy doing that one game a week stuff.
How about this at bat here by Wright? Taking advantage of his opportunity to get to the plate.
He's not getting cheated. He's up there. He's getting his hacks in.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. We saw Wright before drop that backdoor breaking ball against Morris. Wonder if Hughes did the same to him. Instead, a ground ball to shortstop. Mercer is there. 2 outs here in the 8th. Fans, follow every game with MLB.com at bat. On your favorite mobile phone or tablet, get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv, game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit MLB.com today. 2 away now for Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez has been on base 3 times today. An RBI double, a single, a walk, 2 runs scored, and a foul out to left field. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of neat things about coming here to Dodger Stadium to do a game, but probably the coolest thing of all is getting to sit right here in the same seat that Vin Scully has sat in. Now 65 years as the broadcaster for the Dodgers. An honor. It's incredible. Got to meet him yesterday, and just hearing him tell stories and talking about Roberto Clemente and how he would show how he would throw down. Drop down and throw from anywhere. This is the view that Vin Scully has every night here in LA, and it's just so cool.
Well, you know, when you think about it, I mean, he's a living, breathing Google. I mean, he really is. What he's seen, I mean, it's unparalleled. There isn't anybody else that's seen or been around what he's, as far as baseball is concerned. I'm not so sure in the game.
You think about this. He's called every single Los Angeles Dodger that's ever played here in LA. That's amazing. But when someone has a run for a job of 30 plus years, you're saying, wow, that's That's a great run. He has doubled that. My dad just turned 65 this year, and Vin Scully has been broadcasting for the Dodgers for my dad's entire life. That boggles my mind. 3-2 line drive to center. Marte will play it on the bounce, and a 2-out single for Adrian Gonzalez.
Left fielder, number 27, Matt Kemp.
We spoke with Garrett Cole earlier in the broadcast, and Cole pitched on Thursday night. And he said one of the things he was most looking forward to was actually getting the tape, the DVD, of Vin Scully's call of him doing the game and finding out what stories Scully mentioned and wondering how he actually got that information about him.
Well, he is the best. There's no question about it. And having an opportunity to play in L.A. and having Vin call my name, something I'll always remember.
Matt Kemp, first pitch swinging, foul down third baseline. (12-2). Dodgers lead the Pirates. Bottom half of the 8th inning here in L.A. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros. Baseball night in America here on Fox. The Pirates took the first 2 games of this series. Won Thursday night 6-3. Won last night 2-1. And the finale of the series is tomorrow. Edinson Volquez against Zach Greinke. The Dodgers trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Saw a shot of Don Mattingly with Tim Wallach on the bench. Bounce foul, 1-2. I asked Vin Scully yesterday about Yasiel Puig, and does he remind you of anybody? And the only player for the Dodgers that he's seen that even remotely compares, he said, was Raul Mondesi. As strong as Mondesi was, the power he had at the plate, the arm in the outfield.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any question. I definitely agree with that. I had a chance to play alongside Mondesi, and he, the thing. I was looking at their numbers the first 2 years, and very similar. Puig gets on base at a better clip, but I think Puig has a much higher ceiling.
Right.
I mean, as great and as athletic as Mondesi was, he hit 30 home runs a couple times, never drove in 100. He did have. Now he played right field like Puig, and he could throw. I mean, he tattooed on his arm El Cañón and had a big cannon on his right arm. And you know what the sad thing was is he could do it. There's some guys that put that stuff on and you're like, really, dude? You should have put Pop Gun on there or something.
Kemp goes down swinging to end the 8th inning. 12-2. Baseball night in America heads to the 9th here in L.A. with the Dodgers trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Jamie Wright to face Travis Snyder, and Snyder takes the first pitch for a strike. In the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. A new center fielder, Scott Van Slyke, moves over from right field to center, and there's Jamie Romack in right field. One ball and 2 strikes. Two bounce foul. How about Jamie Romack in right field? Played 1,069 minor league games over 12 seasons. And then he got the call up earlier this week. Pinch hit a couple days ago and now is playing out there in right field. Talk about perseverance. Ground ball to second base. Gordon. One away. Fox Sports Supports is proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, a groundbreaking initiative created to accelerate innovative cancer research that gets new therapies to patients quickly in order to save lives now. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. One out here in the 9th, and Josh Harrison steps to the plate.
Josh Harrison's been out there for all 9 today. Made some nice plays over at third.
The way he's playing, I don't think he ever wants to come out.
No, you're right. I mean, again, if you're managing or you're a teammate and you watch that just makes you feel good. I mean, he's out there, he's busting his tail, he's acting like this is the final game of the World Series. He's playing like you'd hope everybody would play.
In the air to right center field. Van Slyke and Romack. There's Romack making the catch by the warning track, 2 away.
Second baseman number 12,
Romack did a nice job of running that thing down. Van Slyke, he hit the route, was kind of in and over at first, and Romack took a beeline to deep right center, made a nice catch. Jamie Wright doing a good job too. He could earn the what is that, the 3-inning save?
3-inning save would be a second career save.
Well, the Pirates, you just put this one in the book as didn't get the breaks, didn't go well. I mean, again, at the beginning of the game, Brandon Compton, he didn't throw all that bad. A lot of ground balls, and Compton kept them in the game. You can go back. I mean, you're not going to. How could you say one play changed everything? But 12-2, that challenge play in the first inning,
because they couldn't challenge the fly ball
that Andre Ethier hit. Correct.
Line drive center field. Van Slyke going back, makes the catch, and that'll do it. The Dodgers take game 3 of this series, 12-2. The King plays of the day brought to you by Burger King. It is Hanley Ramirez in the 4th inning. A monster shot to center field. And then he comes through again in the 6th inning. His next at bat, a breaking ball. And that's gone. 2 home runs on the day. A 4-for-4 ball game for Hanley Ramirez. A 12-2 victory for the Dodgers over the Pirates. For Eric Karros, I'm Justin Ketcher. Coming up after this break, we'll get you back to the studio where Rob Stone is standing by. The Dodgers take game 3 of this 4-game set.